Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions and the Darth Empire. Now, last time I spoke with you, we started talking about, or I started talking about, we didn't discuss anything. You buttholes were listening. But, we started talking about an MMO version of COD, and it sparked the interest of one of my followers, or one of my subscribers and followers. He was featured on Snipinator's channel as the Sniper of the Week. He is Demon of High Voltage Snipers, and he contacted me. We've been talking about doing a dual com for a while, and he was like, "Hey man, like I'm really interested in this MMO COD thing. It really piqued my interest, and so you know what? What better way to get the dual com out than to start bring him in for this this topic." So here he is. He's right here. What's going on, Demon?
Hey man, not much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. It's gonna be nice to have you carry me in through this topic, because there's a lot of things that I want to talk about, but sometimes I feel like I might start missing something, and I'll have to go back, or I don't know if it'll be enough for a regular commentary, but having somebody to bounce ideas off of will, I think, be really cool. Now, on the topic of an MMO Call of Duty, we understand, I've been getting some feedback from people saying it's like, well, the Sledgehammer has put it on hold, or whoever was developing it for Modern Warfare 3, now that they've been brought in to help with that. And while Modern Warfare 3, I believe, has yet to be announced, this MMO COD has been, so to speak, put on hold. This is more of just a talk. I mean, just an idea. This was an idea that was floated, and I think it piqued my interest. Demon, what was your reaction when you heard about the idea of an MMO Call of Duty?
Well, when I heard about it, I was extremely stoked about it, because I've actually been thinking about that kind of game probably, for no joke, like the last 10 years. This is kind of like my dream game that they announced, because I've always wanted a first-person shooter MMO, specifically something console-based. So I've actually been thinking about it for a while. So I really got into, as far as researching it and finding everything out. And Sledgehammer did announce they were going to do it, and they did say they put it on hold because they got brought into Modern Warfare 3. And that's about as far as it went. As soon as they started announcing it, a lot of hype popped up, and a lot of people were talking about it, and it just died. So as far as, like you said, ideas go, there's really no definite know-how on what's going on with it. It's just a lot of speculation at this point, and I think it's really cool to actually get out there and just discuss maybe what I want, what you want, and find out what they want. You know what I mean? Exactly,
and you know what? Feel free to let us know in the comments what you want, what you think would be a good idea. This is purely just discussion. This is pondering. This isn't breaking news. This isn't dissecting really anything other than the topics and how they would fit within the Call of Duty canon. Now, when thinking about a Call of Duty MMO, I mean, well, first of all, I mean, Demon, what gets you into MMO? I mean, what piqued your interest? What about it? What about the idea of a Call of Duty MMO? Obviously, you said because you were looking for a first-person shooter MMO, and I'm the same way. I've been doing that for a long time. Like I said in the last commentary on this subject, I've been looking for like an action MMO kind of thing with guns and less fantasy, less of that sorcery stuff. And more focused on the action, because I really like that RPG element. Are you kind of the same way?
Yeah, I'm really kind of the same way. The thing that makes me probably go towards more of the MMO and wanting it in the first-person shooter, I have to say, is the longevity, right? The longevity of it. You think, take these games into consideration. The leaders of the MMO were, for the longest time, was EverQuest, and then what knocked that off was World of Warcraft. And these games have been around for 5, 6, 7 years. And have millions and millions of players. And the fact you could take one game like that and continuously progress is outstanding to me, instead of this kind of like 1 year rinse and repeat recycle that is turned into Call of Duty.
And that's something I wanted to touch on too. It's for me at least, I did a commentary a while back on being bored with Black Ops and how Black Ops isn't boring, it's more bland, but I think the series as a whole has started to become stale to me. Just like you said, the rinse repeat format. Yes, there's different settings. Yes, there's kind of new mechanics every now and again, but really the whole lobby matchmaking, you fight, but there's really, you level up, you prestige. Okay, where do we go from here? And the idea of the Call of Duty MMO kind of really piqued my interest because it does give you somewhere else to go. It's not just the level up prestige, rinse, repeat, and all that. There's more to it. There's this overarching world that could possibly be implemented. Again, there's no specifics announced as of yet, but I'm just pondering what could be and what I hope will be, the overarching world and the RPG aspect, just the in-depth, maybe not completely in-depth, but in-depth element of it. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about was the idea of how an MMORPG, how having a character, because obviously that would be how an MMO, I think, would work within the COD canon. You would have a character that you level up, that you customize however you wish. But my idea, what I wanted to talk about was the idea of suspending disbelief, because obviously within the game, you go and you try to kill people, and you get killed. Within how Call of Duty plays out, you get killed a lot, and you die a lot, and it all depends on team score, how you win the match. How do you go about, or how do you think they should, or would you like them to go about suspending that disbelief of, okay, well, I have this character, and it's mine, and it's, for all intents and purposes, it's me, but I see him dying a lot. How am I going to get past the idea? It's like, well, I just died like 10 times in that match. How am I now leveling up my guy? How is he still around? How am I not, starting afresh, starting new? How do you think they should go about that, and what would you like to see? How would you like to see them go about changing that?
Well, I guess first off, I'll go back and touch on something you said in your last commentary over this, as far as, like, how are you going to pick to customize your character? Are they going to be ballsy enough to go out and do the Taliban and this and that? And I agree with you. It does have to be something modern. But, taking past MMOs as a base, there's going to have to be some kind of dividing of factions. And there's going to have to be some kind of race type, customization, that sort of thing. And what I think would make the most sense, I don't know if they're going to do it, but this is just my head, would be to have like a World War III concept, somehow dividing the current world into 2, maybe 3 different alliances, and you pick a character and build a character based on maybe a country in that alliance and go from there. I think that would be a real good way to kind of break in the customization and at the same time keep the populace happy and not do Taliban and things like that, because it's something that hasn't happened. But as far as what you were talking about, as far as leveling your character, yes, there is going to have to be some sort of progression, some sort of building in order to keep people interested, because that's part of MMO. I mean, that's just what it is. And building on that, even as far as how are you going to level your character and these kind of situations where you do die and things like that, if you kind of go back and look at stuff maybe like Final Fantasy or those type of games, maybe enter some kind of skirmish. Instead of having quests, have objectives or missions you have to meet. Or instead of just going out and farming kills for experience and certain things like that, like you would do in WoW or EverQuest, have battles that you join, or skirmishes with other players, other clans, these type of things, and how you perform in those, if your team wins, whatever your KD is, those type of things will build up your experience.
So sort of like a, I don't know if a lot of people remember this game, but Chrome Hounds, the launch title, I think it was a launch title for the 360. It was a mech-oriented game, and the online multiplayer was like a campaign where you picked a faction, and it was like a real-time war for positioning, and there were these different points, and you could go join a battle and try to help your faction win. Do you think that would be a concept that is a good idea for implementation if this MMO Call of Duty ever comes to fruition?
I think that would be a good idea, something kind of building off of that, of course. They're going to do something original, but yeah, it's like you said, it can't be, it's going to be open world, but it can't be completely independent as you've seen in other MMOs. And the idea of joining battles and helping out your faction, helping out your alliance, I think is going to play a big part on it, and I think that's a good starting area for them.
Now, but getting back to the suspending disbelief thing, I mean, I think what I like, if I was playing it, okay, if I was playing a Call of Duty MMO and I got involved in a skirmish, and I take my character, I see him with my customizations and my skill level or whatever I deem it to be, and then I die even once or twice, I'm wondering how they're going to get past disbelief that would form when all of a sudden, after the match is over, you gain the XP. All of a sudden, now you're back in the town, or however they choose to manifest that idea of a place in between battles where you can level up your character and do all these things. I wonder how they're going to get past that. It's like, well, I just died 15 times. How is my character still around?
Well, I'm sure if they're doing an MMO, they'll have something where they have a class that's maybe a medic type base, or something that can help you recover. Maybe you don't die, maybe you just get injured and get, airlifted off the field. Or when you go to a battle, maybe you take an airlift to the battle or to that area of the open world, however it may be. There's all different ways they can do it, and there's a lot of different ways around that disbelief. It just matters on how they incorporate them, on how well it will be.
Okay, because I was thinking more of like a cutscene after the battle. If you lose or if you died a lot, it shows you like a first-person view looking up as medics carry you off on like a stretcher or something like that, just to kind of be like, yeah, we know you died, we know it's hard to believe, but yeah, you're not dead. But anyway, the gameplay is wrapping up. By the way, this was a Red Gun gameplay on Domination on Stadium. I hope you enjoyed. This was taking a break from sniping, and believe it or not, this was my first game back, everybody. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you can get past it. It's just a long gameplay. It just gave Demon and myself time to talk and just and discuss this. But anyway, be sure to like up the video if you want this to continue. I think Demon, I really enjoy this. I want to do this more often, and I want to do hopefully more of these. Hopefully you and I can start a series on this on my channel where we just talk about this kind of stuff, because it's really interesting. And that 11 minutes just flew right the hell by. And but
yeah, dude.
But we got to get out of here. Demon's link is going to be in the description, so go ahead and check that out. Also reminding you to follow me on Twitter. Just go to twitter.com/lefty643. Interact with me. That's the focal point. Interact with me on Twitter. That's where you can also find out about open lobbies and all that stuff. All right, guys, that's our time. We got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. We are out. Peace.